This is a practice exercise video solution. For this practice, we use the supplied dataset trigger lock. We want to begin by creating a new sketch, and we're going to select the right plane. We want to create a sketch for the trigger lock, so we'll be using our line tool, and we need to start sketching to create the outline of this. Remember, we can hold down the Control or Command key to override any persistent constraints that are trying to be applied. Once we're happy with the shape, we can hit Escape to get off the line tool and move them around a little bit more. Next, I want to apply some dimensions. I'm going to use my align dimension. I'm going to give this a dimension of 25 millimeters. Then we can add some angular dimensions. In this case, I'll add 60 degrees. If we need to, we can adjust the position of any of the components once we define their dimensions to the origin. This one up front, we'll set this at 60 degrees also. And we can give an overall height between these 2 points. And I'll set this at 4.5 millimeters. Then I'll hit Escape to get off my dimension tool and simply move them around. Notice that the angle is not quite right, so the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to add a dimension between the origin and this upper point if I'm happy with its location. I'm going to set it to that 50.25 millimeters, and then I'm going to add a horizontal dimension to that position as well. I'll set this at 125 millimeters. We'll zoom back in, hit Escape to get off our dimension tool, and now we can rotate things around a little bit better. Once we're happy with the position again, we can carry on applying these dimensions. We'll set this one at 130 degrees, and hit Escape to get off our dimension tool and see what we still need to do. From here, I'm going to apply a dimension between these 2 points of 4.5 millimeters. Now everything is fully defined. I'm going to finish my sketch, and I'm going to use Extrude to bring this out to make sure that we can replicate this solid trigger lock. I'm going to bring it out a distance of 6 millimeters and say OK. Then using my fillet tool, I'm going to apply a small fillet to the outside of each corner. I'm going to start by trying to apply a 0.5 millimeter and then going up to 1 millimeter. If we missed any corners, it would be apparent here, but it looks like we got everything. Last, I'm going to hide the canvas, and I'm going to use the Modify Shell tool, select the back side, and I'm going to shell it with a 0.5 millimeter distance. So here you can see that we've made a thin wall solid body that represents the trigger lock. More details could be added, but this is a great place to save before moving on.